What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to be discussing late October tactics. We're rolling into the pre-rut. So this is the seeking phase. This is the time of year where you're going to start seeing bucks cruising. They're going to be checking scrapes. We've got some precipitation this weekend, so let's talk about tactics for this coming weekend. Let's talk about tactics, rolling from late October into November. Let's start this thing out with scrapes. Primary scrapes, interior scrapes. I'm going to be focusing definitely on scrapes. We'll be moving inside the timber more. We'll be getting, tighter to bedding. We're going to be hunting over interior scrapes. I'm going to be looking for big shredded rub lines. I'm going to be trying to figure out, whether they're bedding in certain areas or if they're coming through feeding. A lot of times, early to mid-October, trail cameras are showing me, bucks are coming in at night, checking scrapes. A lot of times where your does are using those primary scrapes, you're not getting those big mature bucks on it. That's all about the change. Those big mature deer, they're going to be looking for the does. This is the time of year to focus on where the does are. I don't focus so much on where the bucks have been the last, 2-3 weeks. It's not really going to matter. At this point, you need to be moving cameras, you need to be moving stands, you need to be willing to be mobile. If you do have preset stands, I'd base those off of last year's intel and what you saw. Deer typically are going to do similar things. So what I mean by that is if a mature buck comes in an area working a scrape, or is cruising a ridge line, or maybe you have a good white oak crop or red oak crop, and you have another good one this year, I would key in on those areas where you've seen mature bucks in the past come through, work scrapes, check does. If you know where rub lines are, this is where last year's intel is really going to come into play. I'm the kind of person, I like to leave my trail cameras when I set them out. I leave them for the whole season. I don't move cameras too much. I might have one in my pickup truck if I'm, on a really good one and I see him come down a trail and I don't have a stand in that location, or I saw him way off in the distance, I might go move a camera over there. But for the most part, I like to leave my cameras in place, because what I've noticed over the years is that if you move your cameras around a ton, you're just kind of chasing your own tail. Where, you might set up a camera in October and that buck's not going to show up until October 29th. So for 29 days, you might just see some does and fawns on it, or, you're just catching turkeys or raccoons, things like that. But if you're willing to leave that thing and let it stay, it's going to show you exactly what's happening at certain times of the year. And what I mean by that is, if you leave that thing for, 29 days and that buck shows up between October 27th and the 29th, he's likely going to do that again the next year. Where if you would have come in there and been like on the 16th, 17th, I'm moving this camera, it's dead, I'm not, getting any mature bucks on it. Well, and then he comes in, he works a, scrape, or he was cruising looking for a doe, or, depending on if it's a food plot or something, maybe he was coming into that food source, after the crop was taken out. You need to be aware of your surroundings and what's going on in your area. This is the time of year you want to get aggressive. I like to get into those bedding areas, get tighter to the interior spots. I'm going to be setting up on big travel routes, pinches, things like that, creek crossings, the areas maybe that I wasn't focused on the last couple of weeks. Now I'm going to be really focusing in on that. So one of the number one things that have helped me out over the years, or put me really close or on top of one of my target bucks, is that I like to use last year's intel for the upcoming season. I really, really like to have preset stands if that's possible. I know on public ground a lot of times you're just doing hanging hunts, and that's okay. Mark an area out. If you saw a big buck come through and he did something on November 3rd, 4th, 5th, or late October, the 26th through the 30th, or somewhere in that area, well, then I would mark that spot out and I would plan on doing a hanging hunt in that spot the next year. Oftentimes, even if it's not the same buck, those mature bucks, they just move differently. They don't move the same way that the rest of the herd does. The does, your younger bucks, oftentimes you'll see the big logging roads or the big trails mowed down by those deer, and that buck will come through that area, but he might move a different way through there. They like to use side cover and they like to use edge. That is a key, is being somewhere like on an inside corner, or find a pocket that you know that deer is likely going to come down, especially this time of year where he's scent checking does. So guys, I hope these tips are helpful. Look for interior scrapes, look for those rub lines. This is the time of year to focus on where those does have been for the last couple weeks. And most importantly, do not be afraid to move stands. I'm telling you, being mobile has helped me out over the years. It has increased my success. It has put me either on my target buck or, gave me a shot opportunity at my target deer. It's the way to do it. So hope that was helpful, guys. We'll be coming back here in the next couple of weeks with a November tactics video. In the meantime, we're going to be getting after them. We got a lot of all-day sits coming up. Thanks again.